This feels kind of special to me to be over in the basketball arena doing this. Football coach being over here, I don't know how that works, but I'm here to answer any questions that you have. We've had some things going on with the program, and I'll answer any questions that you have.
Coach, did everyone make it back from the National Coaches Convention?
All the coaches are back, yep.
So there's no word of anyone leaving?
No one else has indicated that they're going anywhere. Now, some of them aren't here right now because today we could go back out on the road. So some of them were here this morning for a staff meeting and went back on the road recruiting.
Rocky, talk about your new offensive coordinator.
Well, I think that it's a pretty special hire. You don't normally see a guy with his experience and his success come back to a conference like ours, whichever it is, as a coordinator. I mean, he's been an offensive coordinator as well as the head coach at the same time in several spots. Has had success in almost every place he's been. When I worked with him at UCLA, he had great success at UCLA. Bowl games, Rose Bowl, Conference Coach of the Year, and at the same time he was running the offense. So then I was lucky enough that he became my offense coordinator at my previous school, and that was one of the best teams we ever had when he was there.
Can you speak to reasons he wanted to come work with you?
Well, first of all, I think we're really good friends, and second of all, I think that we know how we both work. I worked for him, and he's worked for me, and we get along really, really well, and our philosophies are the same. He knows that I don't mess with the offense, that it's his show, and I have great trust that he'll be able to do things with our offense that haven't been done up to this time. I think through his experience and the number of different places he'd be, I'm sure that he can take the players that we have now and get the most out of them.
Were you concerned at all about his breakout with Tulane?
Not at all. Why would I be concerned?
I mean, there's some pretty vicious things that I think so called like a lightning rod criticism. After that, I mean, it was a pretty nasty breakdown.
Well, I think anytime you don't have success at any place, the blame can be put in a lot of different places, and sometimes their egos and their emotions get the best of them in all those situations.
How about your tight end departing the defense crew? Who stopped you before that?
Well, I mean, we talked during the season about it, and then before he made the announcement, we talked a little bit about it, but he had already decided that he was coming out. So I once again tried to tell him the benefits of staying in school, but all families make their own decisions, and he's pretty comfortable with this decision. I think he'll be a good pro. So we wish them the best of luck like we do all guys that have that opportunity.
Roger, was it hard to convince Toledo to come back out of retirement? It seemed like he was kind of gone.
I don't think it was hard. It wasn't a foregone conclusion when I called him up. I think he thought about it for a couple of days, and then he got excited about it, and then he came down and spent the day with us down here, and I think now he's really, really excited about coming back.
Now that's all said and done, I know you mentioned Horton as one of the other candidates. Can you tell us any other candidates now that the hire's already on?
It doesn't do any good to tell you the other candidates. I talked to 4 or 5 guys on the phone. Coach Toledo was my first choice, and when he got excited about coming, I didn't worry about the rest of them.
What about losing Andy? When did that seem like that might have been a possibility, and what were your discussions like?
Well, I mean, you guys knew 24 hours or 12 hours after I did. Gary Anderson, the new coach of Wisconsin, gave me a call on the phone. Gary and I have been kind of friends for a long time since we're both defensive guys and have talked to each other several times. He called up and said that he was interested in hiring Andy as the offensive coordinator and wanted me to know that. And so as soon as he got off the phone with me, I'm sure he called Andy.
And that was before or after you showed up at the Rose Bowl?
He called me the day before Andy was cited at the Rose Bowl. Rose Bowl practice, right? Yeah, Rose Bowl practice.
Rocky, are things pretty well settled now with your staff and the team going forward? It's all, full ahead now.
Well, I think there's still some movement going on in the coaching ranks. There'll be some college coaches moving to the NFL. I don't know necessarily as head coaches, but there's always college coaches that move to the NFL as assistant coaches too. And it's always a domino effect. So there's always a chance, because of our recent success here, that some of our coaches will be contacted about jobs other places. So that's always a possibility. I think we're a little uneasy about which league we're going to be in right now, and that should be decided in the next week or so. So that'll settle back down. I think the coaching carousel will still go on as long as the NFL has jobs open. As soon as that's all over, we'll probably be settled in. I don't know if any of our guys will be contacted or not.
Are you part of that discussion as far as which league you might be playing in?
I'm always kept abreast of what's going on. I don't have an opinion. Wherever they put us, we'll play whoever shows up.
Do you have any idea which way the wind is blowing on that, though?
I don't know. I think in my opinion, I think it's 50-50 right now. But I'm not in the inner circle. I'm not on the conference calls. I just get a feeling that it's not this. I don't think it's even close to being decided. But I think it's going to happen quick.
Coach, so is Coach Toledo going to coach the tight ends as well?
Well, Andy didn't really coach the tight ends either. I mean, he'll be in charge of the tight ends, but we'll have a GA that really coaches them.
Any changes with the GAs? Like, are you promoting anybody? Is anybody leaving?
Well, we can't promote anybody because we don't have an opening to promote anybody. I would guess that there could be a GA that would go to Wisconsin if there's a GA position opened up in Wisconsin, which there isn't right now. But if a position opened up, I could see one of our GAs that understands our offense going to Wisconsin, because that helps a new coordinator when you can bring a GA that has the computer knowledge and all the knowledge of the offense already in his mind when it comes to breakdowns and all that sort of thing. But they have to have a position open for that too.
That being said, would you expect Toledo to perhaps bring some folks to your, or make an opening for somebody he might want?
No, that's the other thing. I mean, unless something opens up on the offensive side of the ball, I'll sure take his advice on who we might want to hire or who we might bring in. But any coordinator that was interested in our job was told right up front that the other assistant coaches are staying. If they're staying, they're on the staff. I wouldn't have brought a coordinator in and made any changes to any of our other coaches. Now, some of our other coaches might make the change in the next week or two, but I told all our coaches I wanted them all back, so there was no question that way. So the coordinator had to be willing to do that.
And Coach, in terms of recruiting, can you kind of talk about, I know Bob Toledo's been in the coaching ranks for quite a while, especially down here in Southern California. Can you talk about his ties and what he brings on that aspect of the program?
Well, first of all, he's not going to get here till the 22nd, and then he has to take a NCAA compliance test in order to recruit. So he won't be able to recruit until the very end of recruiting. I think the knowledge, especially of the recruits that are on the offensive side of the ball, the knowledge of him being our coordinator helps dramatically. You know, because those guys were worried about who the coordinator was going to be when Coach Ludwig left. And getting a guy with his reputation and his experience and his success moving the football and scoring points settled all our offensive recruits down. And I think just his name in California will help us recruit, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So he won't have much time to actually be involved in the actual recruiting. Plus, we're going to have to tutor him for a day or so he can pass the test.
How different is this offense going to be than your old offense?
I think it's going to be very similar.
Like, I guess what sort of differences could he bring to the schemes?
Well, I'm not going to compare him and Andy because I work with both of them. I think both of them do a really, really good job. My experience is being around Coach Toledo is that he's very inventive. He's the best play caller I've ever competed against. And We competed when I was at Oregon State and he was at UCLA, and we competed every day in practice for a total of 3 years. I think he's the best play caller I've ever been around. But I think the offense being different will be determined by him when he gets a better feel for the players we have.